Joe? Joe, what's up, man?
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, buddy. How are you?
What's...
Hello.
Where are you, L.A.?
No, I'm in New York right now.
Oh, okay. You're living in Green Bay is where you're. It's unbelievable how often you're in Green Bay, man.
Yeah. We got him for the third week in a row.
Thanks for doing this. We'll get started in a second, all right?
Yeah, whatever you need.
Appreciate it, buddy. All right.
Sure.
We're rolling? Mm-hmm. All right. It's the Artie Quitter podcast. Dan, the opening theme. We have to have the opening theme. Joe Buck is my guest. Daryl Wright and Russ Maneuver, the comedians. My opening theme is my air conditioning unit because I can't afford a real song. But I committed to this. So that you're hearing the fan of my air conditioner because, and I do have the rights to this, by the way, of the publishing. My next album cover is going to be Dan holding that microphone to the fucking air conditioner. That is so funny. It represents disappointment. And we're trying to figure out if it's sadder for me or Dan. I think it's
the way Dan's sadly holding it.
This is the guitar solo right here. All right, thanks. Okay, that's the opening. Joe Buck is one of the nicest guys in the world because after I ruined his life, he came back and became a friend of mine. You're with Russ Maneuver and Daryl Wright, two great comics who are friends of mine, and they're fans of yours. And you have a new HBO show. Right? Is it?
No.
Oh, no. Audience
Good
Network.
God, no.
Wait a minute. Audience Network.
You and I.
Is
you
Chris
and I both got deported. You and I both got deported by HBO.
Is Chris Long? Is Chris Long your boss?
Yeah, he is. Muscles, the one and only.
That's the greatest thing ever. Well, could you tell Chris and your producers I have not gotten my call time for tomorrow?
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Oh
my God.
A lot of people on Twitter want to know if I'm going to be on the show.
Well, let's just piece our way through this thing, okay? It's called Undeniable, and I'm going to run through the guest list, okay?
Okay.
So we've already done interviews with Jeter and Wayne Gretzky and Michael Phelps and Troy Aikman, and how could you not be a part of that list?
Well,
it seems like it's a natural.
Let me pitch my side of it. Derek Jeter, maybe the most boring interview in the history of human beings. If he was full of truth serum,
we'll
see. Did you get him to tell about chicks he fucked?
Yeah, I got him to talk about the whole gift basket idea and the rumor that he was handing out gift baskets on their way out of the door. Yes, we got to that.
Is it true that in that gift basket was a Bernie Williams jazz CD?
Well, I'm sure there were a few left. It had to go somewhere.
Well, I did hear. Well, to me, because if it was in the gift basket, that is really not cool. I mean, because clearly he got that for free. What was honestly, that is funny that you asked him about that because I never heard someone confront him. Did you ask him? Did he admit that there was a gift basket? Can you give us a tease?
No, he said it was. He said it was ridiculous. Here's how it happened. I said to him, hey. From what I hear, when you're so private, and I said, you've managed to live in New York and be the king of New York and Yankees and captain and all that,
right?
Not step in any tabloid crap, and how is that possible? I've heard that even when you have friends and their friends over to your apartment, you make them check their cell phone at the door. And he said, that's ridiculous. You believe that? You probably believe the gift basket rumor too. And then he went into the whole gift basket. So then I followed it up with. Yeah, and I said, okay, well, let's just say for argument's sake, you did give a gift basket. What would you put in it? And he then, we joked about, a headshot, autographed ball, an autographed bat. But Bernie Williams' jazz CD was not a part of the conversation.
How about a Valtrex prescription?
How about the closest Planned Parenthood office?
Oh, that's a rumor item.
Oh, my God. That for some reason I didn't go there either.
Well, I was going to say, what is it like taking Mariah Carey for an abortion? Where do you do that? That's a good question.
Oh, God.
He's got a big herpes.
All of a sudden, I have the same sweat that I had that night.
No, okay. So listen, if you asked him to get him to talk about that gift basket, that's worth it alone. I'd love to see that.
Well, that's in there for sure.
Michael Phelps, you bring up the weed, obviously, with him, right?
That was literally the darkest interview I've ever seen, let alone been a part of. I've known him a little. I knew him a little bit before. He went through rehab, and I can tell you he is like a different human being. And he talked about suicide. He talked about how he wanted to end his life. He talked about the weed picture, about the whole thing that went on around that. There were like 6 people at that party. He knew who took the picture, and he knew the guy that turned it into the press
right
after that came out. And then he talked about the DUIs, and he talked about what it was like when he entered rehab, and how he was shaking so bad he could barely walk, and they just took everything away from him, and he walked past everybody in the cafeteria, sat down bawling, crying, and looked up, and all that was in front of him was an American flag. And just the irony of somebody that had won that many gold medals that was just that shredded down to his core, and that's what he's staring at. It was a powerful interview, and it's only because he wanted to talk about it. I brought it all up, and he tackled it all and didn't hold anything back. That's one that I think you'll like a lot.
He was suicidal over the whole weed thing. That whole thing made him suicidal.
No. He was suicidal over the second DUI.
The DUI,
he
okay.
was the DUI. I think he felt like he had let so many people down. He talks about, as a kid being made fun of for his ears and being made fun of, for the way he looked, and how even as the cover boy of Sports Illustrated, he's a very insecure guy,
right.
And talked about how the people that he let down when that happened for a second time led him to the brink of wanting to end his own life. And it was, he was a bawling mess on the stage, but I know he walked out of that feeling really good, having talked about it for the first time. Now he's talked about it since. This was shot in August, and the audience was just captivated watching this guy, talk about being as vulnerable as he was. It was dark.
He's from Baltimore, right?
Wow.
Michael Phelps
is from Baltimore?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Isn't he from Baltimore, Joe?
Is he from?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And he needs to hang around more. He really needs to hang around more brothers, because I don't know anybody that was upset that he was smoking weed and driving drunk.
Well, the DUI.
Like,
he felt he let down like America.
Which side of America did he let down? I still don't know any brother. That's
Well, it makes him more human to me. It makes him.
I don't understand.
But these guys. Look, they're put on a pedestal, and there's still a lot of that corporate bullshit with them.
That's what that is, because I don't know any brother in Baltimore that's mad at him for anything.
That's not his market, though. I don't.
Yeah,
think. Swimmers.
But I think you got to realize. Yeah, right. Yeah, I think you got to realize that this was a guy that, as you said, is marketed to this country, and,
right.
and has stood on that podium, and the whole thing with his mom was always there, and he's a really good family guy, and I just feel like he got revealed, and that's where all that comes from. It's no different than. There are a lot of stories out there like it. It's just that it doesn't happen to a 18-time medal winner in the Olympics, and I appreciated him being that open about it, and I think it's a worthwhile watch.
What's the first interview? Is the first show Jeter?
First show's Jeter. Then I think Abby Wambach, who's phenomenal, and probably my favorite interview of the 13 that we've done. And then Aikman. I know that's a reach that I got Aikman, but he talked about stuff I've never heard him talk about, and everybody left that stage having cried while they were sitting out there. It really, now that I think about it, I don't think you should watch this show. I think you're going to hate it.
Does he address my accusations in my second special, Jack and Coke, which you could get at artiequitter.com, that he's
which I have, by the way. And every time when I put my iPod on random, for some reason, it always goes back to that same skit on the whole Romo thing, Aikman and Cowboys and all. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm paid to make
joke.
I'm paid to make observations as a comedian, and Romo and homo rhyme. That's all. That's it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't expect a Grammy for it, but you know what's a get for you? You got to get the guy Aaron Rodgers is dating.
Oh my God!
All right, listen. We were listening to Green Bay Talk Radio, right, Dan? The second caller after the game the other day, they let him talk for like 30 seconds, and he kept saying how Rodgers is gay and he's dating a guy and the girlfriend's a beard, and if he comes out, he'll play better.
Oh my God!
I know privately you've told me, huh?
I was just going to say that happened to me when I got separated. Somebody called in an FAN in New York and said, I know why he's getting separated. He's been dating Fernando Tatis of the New York Mets.
Well, you know what, Joe? I'm sorry, that was me.
Now it all makes sense.
But
Vinny from Queens had that theory.
But this is Joe Buck. Couldn't you like get somebody better than Tatis? I mean, you're like kind of famous.
Well, that's what makes it unbelievable.
That's what makes it unbelievable.
Let me tell you something about Joe Buck. He always has a piece of ass.
You think I'd aim higher?
Yeah,
okay.
you know.
I appreciate that.
Joe, you always got a piece of ass with you. That time I saw you when I was coming out of the where were we? The fucking where were we when I saw you?
Yeah. Well,
Time
the last
Warner.
time I saw you was downtown.
The Time Warner Center.
Yeah, well, that woman is now my wife.
Oh,
yeah.
I saw him. He was at Del Frisco's when you were coming to meet me.
Yeah.
And he was at the table with Hot Blonde.
Oh, she's
smoking hot
really hot. Really hot.
You just missed Artie by about 5 minutes, by the way. I'm not kidding.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, we met on the internet. So let me tell you, this is
Did you really?
Perfect example. No, we didn't. I stalked her.
How did you meet her?
I was either getting a restraining order or engaged, and I got engaged.
How did you meet her?
She worked at NFL Network for 7 years, and now works at ESPN.
Look
Her name's
at you.
Michelle Beisner.
How do you make that move? How do you like?
Were you married when you met her?
No, I was not.
Oh, all right.
No, you can look at the date. All good. I'm
dates.
clean there.
No, I broke that marriage up with the HBO appearance. I think.
You did. That was literally one of the last times I was out publicly with my ex-wife.
Can I tell you the greatest thing about?
You ruined my.
The greatest thing about the greatest thing about the impression you do of me, Joe, is when I made because when I found out your kids were at that HBO thing, that's when I started to feel bad. So I got Joe's number and I left a message apologizing, and he does the funniest version of that message. But
no, the message is great. And you're like, hey, look, man, I'm sorry. I'm a comic. I got the first laugh. I had to kind of go for it a little bit. But I don't ever want to get in the way of a guy trying to earn a living. So anything I can do. And your kids were there. It makes me sick to my stomach that the kids were there. Yeah,
that is funny. Were your kids affected by that at all? Did they bring me up ever? Or,
No, I just preemptively washed their mouths out with soap when we got back to the hotel.
I shouldn't have had the word cocksucker in the first joke. You're right. That was reaching.
Yeah, that was. Hey, if you're gonna go big.
Now,
I appreciated it.
Does Chris Long still have acne on his back from steroid use?
Do you know how long I've known Chris Long? I've known Chris Long. He was at Fox before he went to anywhere else. So I've known him since I was like 25.
Yeah, when I saw you at the Tom Warner Center, I mentioned that he said something about you to me, and the first thing you said to me, he goes, "Well, Chris Long's full of shit. You realize that, right?"
Yeah. And now he's my boss.
No, he's a great. Chris Long is the best.
weird.
He's the best boss I ever had, man. He's the best boss I ever had.
I will tell you that he studied at the foot of David Hill, who was our longtime boss at Fox.
I know David Hill.
Guys.
I know David Hill really well, man. He's my kind of guy.
Yeah,
I love him.
Yeah, he's the best. And Chris is in that same mold. He's just like, just go for it, whatever. We'll make it work. And it's good when you work for somebody that you feel like's got your back. And that was not the case at HBO. That's not to keep going back to this with you, but that's what pissed me off more than anything is that HBO and the guys there were so upset with you, and I wasn't, but I got lumped in with them because they literally wanted you shipped to Guantanamo after that appearance.
Oh, they were. I mean, I went to Stern the next morning because that was like on a Wednesday night, and I thought everything went fine. And Howard was laughing. He goes, "Did you see the Post?" I go, "No." And it's a big headline: Artie Lang banned from HBO Sports. And I'm like, "Well, that's really going to cut into my fucking income."
Right, yeah. I mean, what a joke. What a joke. It's so dumb.
But I mean, listen, you were always a stand-up guy with that, man. You really, stepped up for me, and I was on the second show. But my thing was like, I always thought you were a great interviewer. And I think that Chad Ochocinco and and Brett Favre kind of let you hang that night. Don't you think so? I mean, they didn't say what I think you thought they might say.
Yeah, you're waiting. I worked that Brett Favre interview forever, and you're waiting for him to go, yes, I'm coming back. He said everything but. And you knew when he walked off the stage that he was coming back and going to the Vikings. But, yeah, you're only as good as the guys that are sitting in the chair across from you. I think, unless you're, I don't know, Oprah.
Yeah, sure. You're right, yeah.
And if they don't want to talk, they don't want to talk. And you're not going to waterboard somebody to try to get information out of them. So you do what you can and you have fun with it. The problem with you and me was I was in a position where I either jump down in there with you, and I'm not going to match wits with you, and I can't out-dirty you. So I had to just sit there and, like, with my hands tied behind my back, just take shot after shot across the jaw. And I had 9,000 things going through my head, which I just wrote a book. So that's detailed in there. I've got some of that crap in there.
Well, yeah. Well, listen. I really felt it was good, and then I felt it was bad, and then I saw the paper, and I just was happy you.
It was good. It was live TV, man. It was, as I said to you before, if it was David Hill, he would have said, "Yeah, this is live TV." The rating was huge, and it got so much buzz. David Hill would have taken advantage of that and said, "Hey, this is live TV. Tune in next month, and who knows what you're going to see. You take advantage of that. You don't, you don't dismiss it. It's just silly.
Now, the hardest thing for me about working at the Audience Network was when you're at like an Audience Network gathering or party, is pretending Dan Patrick is funny. Is that hard for you to do?
Yeah. Did it?
Because if you talk to Chris,
I haven't experienced that yet.
Oh my God!
If it happens, I'll text you.
Because if you talk to Chris Long, you'd think Dan Patrick was Richard Pryor.
Okay. Yeah.
And he always
sweating again.
Well, I mean, this to me is a perfect thing for you. Like, especially guys in sports. It says a lot about you that these guys trust you. Like the Jeter era, you're sort of the voice of the Jeter era. All those playoff games, it's you making those calls to me. That's all I remember.
Yeah. In fact, I'm in the background of the Monica Lewinsky tapes, which not a lot of people remember, but when Linda Tripp was entrapping Monica Lewinsky, either Monica or Linda, I think it was Linda, had the Yankees-Indians game on in the background. And so they are sobbing about what happened in the side office to the Oval Office.
Oh, that's
and every
hilarious.
time there's a sniffle and then silence on their line. You hear me in the background going, ground ball to Jeter.
Well, that reminds me. That's when me and Norm Macdonald sat in the booth with Bob Uecker. That was his great gift, was hitting the cough button when he wanted to talk to, about a chick in the stands. Uecker would literally hit the cough button to say something old fashioned about a broad. He'd go like, there's a ground ball to shortstop over to first. Look at the fucking tits on that broad. Over to first base, do that. Just like watching.
He is one of literally the most naturally funny guys of all time. But here's the thing: if you go back and you listen to my dad, you go back and you listen to Harry Carey, you go back, you listen to Uecker, back in a different era. Those guys could be themselves. Now you have to be so measured and so PC and so worried about saying anything that would upset anybody that everybody's boring and vanilla, and then that's what people. Their perception of me is, for people who don't know me, it's like, well, you're just a stiff play-by-play guy who hates my team. And it's like, I may hate your team, but I'm not a stiff play-by-play guy.
What would your father, that's a good point. Jack Buck, again, I've said it publicly, one of my heroes. I love those old guys. What would he think of the state of, not just television, the world nowadays,
I think about that all the time. I mean, he was a guy that was wounded in World War II at Remagen Bridge, and came back and worked his way from literally nothing, a Depression-era kid who got to call a World Series on television, and it was a tremendous story, and literally lived the American dream. And You know, I think not just in sports, but in the world today with what you can and can't say. I mean, when he got a chance to do it with McCarver back in 1990 and 91, Bobby Vinton is singing the national anthem in Pittsburgh, and he butchers the harmony, the lyrics, the idea, the words, the everything to the Star Spangled Banner. And at the end of it, my dad comes on as they're going to break, and he goes, because the crowd went nuts. He's from Pittsburgh,
right?
Bobby Vinton. And my dad says on the air, well, I guess the moral of the story is when you're Polish and you're from Pittsburgh, you can sing the anthem any way you want, and they still love it. And I was in college. Awesome. I was in college, and my buddy and I are watching on TV, and my friend turned to me and goes, your dad's going to get a lot of shit for that. Yeah. And it's just a difference of the era. What he was doing was trying to take the pressure off the situation because it was so bad.
Yeah.
But anytime you mention an ethnicity or a nationality or anything, be careful because somebody's going to be upset. And when he and my mom got back to their hotel room that night from the game, there was a footprint right in the middle of their pillow in the hotel room. And, if you need a better example of how times had changed and how he was kind of a creature of a different era, that was it.
Yeah. Again, your father, the last playoffs he did was when CBS had the 91-92, the 92 playoffs. And I always, when I imitate your father, that the opening pitch of Reds Pirates. So this is 90 because the Pirates the Reds went on to beat the A's.
That's right.
The way he just sort of, even like dismisses McCarver at the end. He does it in a loving way, but he's one of those guys who can get away with it. He's like, fly ball. Here's the first pitch to Larkin, fly ball to left. Bonds is there. He's got it. That's the way this one starts. Timmy will give you the lineups. He just tells McCarver, Timmy will give you the lineups. And then McCarver has to give him the lineups because Jack Buck told him to.
Oh, my God.
That's right, yeah. No. That was, and with all that, as his son, I was watching that thinking, the country's not seeing how great this guy is because he still was really measured on TV. He didn't really get a chance with Tim to be himself. That's kind of some of the stuff I write about in the book, and it was really a frustrating thing, and it was a good lesson for me because I think as time has gone on, even in the politically correct era, I think I'm more and more willing to say what I feel, and if some people don't like it, then who cares? You move on to the next week, and it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Well, you know what I liked about the World Series is, Joe, you're at the point now where you are, other people in the broadcast booth, you're getting that respect that you deserve now as being a guy who's been there for a while, and they sort of defer to you and everything you say. They wait for you to finish, and they seem respectful at least. And knowing the kind of guy you are, knowing the kind of guy you are, and the kind of broadcaster you are, I like to see that. It's great.
Thanks. Thanks. It was fun. That was a hell of a World Series.
Amazing World Series. But please tell me, is A-Rod going to be like a staple now with the fucking analogies? Him. When he made that Jay-Z comment, like, did you stretch a muscle rolling your eyes?
I don't. Did he say that?
Did you hear what he said?
What did he say? I don't even know.
He said in the pregame to Pete Rose, he goes, "Well, Pete, in 2009 we thought we could beat anybody, and what really helped in that last game was Jay-Z came out and rocked the house." And we were all just pumped at that, and that really helped us win. He says this to Pete Rose, who
I think some of that stuff they're told to say because I think they want to have Pete Rose then turn around and say something so insane back to that. I mean, Pete Rose is wearing a bow tie and is just kind of the comic relief.
He looked odd
on that show.
He did. He looked odd.
It was, but it got talked about. If you're trying to do something on TV, you want to get people talking about it, and I guess people talked about it. But I thought Alex was great. I really did. I thought he worked hard at it.
Oh, stop it.
He's a very. I swear. Believe me. I wouldn't even go back into it.
We'll talk.
I thought it was good.
We'll talk later. We'll talk
Pete Rose was awesome. Pete Rose was awesome. Talking from a drunk, Pete Rose was.
No, awesome. I like Pete Rose was good, but A-Rod. I mean, he just looks so metrosexual with those.
He was so non sequitur. Pete Rose was so non sequitur. It was awesome, man.
What is it like being in the same room with those pink, pillowy lips of A-Rod?
Magical. It was magical.
Don't leave your broad around him, man. Piece of advice: do not leave your chick around A-Rod. Do not.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
because,
note to self. She's right here. Honey, don't ever talk to A-Rod. Okay, I got it.
Let me talk to her. Let me talk to her. When is the book coming out, man? First of all.
Next fall.
That's great.
It's good. I mean, it's pretty revealing. There's stuff in there about the year I lost my voice and our thing, but it's more of what what I've said here. Not
Can I ask
not accusatory. It's more of more detail.
That voice
Go
ailment,
ahead.
I have that, and it did a lot of damage, and I couldn't do long shows, and it was a real problem for a while. Like, what level of problem were you at, and how'd you fix it?
Yeah, for him, it's got to be a nightmare too, right, Joe? I mean, that's got to be. It's your whole thing.
I wanted to jump off my
so
building.
bad.
Yeah.
Dude, I wanted to jump off my building. It was so bad. I was between shows, I remember, on the road.
Right.
And I couldn't, I was like, how am I going to get through this next show? Anyway, go ahead, Joe, sorry.
No, it's literally, it's debilitating in a lot of ways. I had a paralyzed vocal cord, so I had one side of my that apparatus that comes together to make your sound was laying there dead. And not only could I not really make a full sound, but I couldn't keep my breath. So doing play-by-play, when you don't know something big's about to happen, and you're trying to gather your breath and talk in between breaths, it was crushing. And I couldn't order a drink at a bar. I couldn't order a sandwich at a restaurant. It made me a hermit. I didn't talk on the phone for a year. I had it for 9 months. And thank God it came back. The only way to fix it was to put Gore-Tex in there and put it permanently in place, which then cuts your airway in half.
And
So
now
it never got to that point.
And you're thinking this could ruin me.
Of course,
right?
it's his whole like us. It's his whole thing. Is your voice?
Did you have those thoughts?
Yeah, I believe me. That's when antidepressants come into play, and you start realizing that you've got a core group around you that not to be sappy, especially on this podcast, but that's when you really lean on people that truly have your back and don't really. Most people want you to fail, and certainly other people in my business, other play-by-play guys, were probably thrilled that I wasn't right. But,
oh my God! Kenny Albert threw a party.
People around you. Yeah, they were all. I mean, believe me, I was looking for voodoo dolls, anything that had a pin in the neck.
I know this
But
feeling.
it was scary.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen. First of all, I'm covered in the book. Do I need a lawyer here? I mean, how in depth do you go about what?
No,
happened?
Again, you and I were going to do like a combined book signing. I think that's something we need to revisit for my book now.
Oh, sure.
No, it'll be nothing but good.
You didn't do it for me, and I'll do it for you. That's great. I'll move a few books for you. What the hell?
All right, good.
Now, you honestly have been a loyal friend. Like even this, you don't have to do this. I mean, it's a show in my kitchen that my cousins listen to. You're a good man, Joe. I tell that to everybody. You're a great guy and a talented guy.
And I say the same. I say the same about myself.
Now,
I say the same about you?
What about the beard, dude? It's a little too trimmed. Honestly,
I know.
Keep the beard?
It freaks people out, but the aforementioned hot blonde wife likes it, so I really don't care about social media or what you think of it. I'm just going to keep it.
When I said beard, I meant the wife.
Oh yeah, yes. She's covering up the true story. That'll be detailed in the book of my long affair with Fernando Tatis.
Now she was worked at ESPN. You said.
She's now at ESPN. Prior to that, she was at NFL Network.
NFL Network, okay. Hot blonde at NFL Network. Was it awkward for you dating a girl who's clearly slept with a black man?
God, I wish I could hear you say that.
NFL Network, hot blonde. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Let's do the math.
That is going to be the first thing I tell her when I hang up this phone.
What's it like following Mike Singletary?
Wow, what an interesting pick you went with there. That's thousands you could have gone with.
You don't, but you don't care about that, right? You're very open with that, liberally. You don't care if she.
So now this is a supposition that I'm accepting. Sure,
right.
I'm open with that.
Well, that's great.
You don't. I mean, honestly, because I come from Newark, the Italian thing. I do have an issue with it. I do.
That's great that
Do you? Well,
it's great that Joe
is
Buck
a new-
really
it's a
thinks
new era.
Black Lives Matter. That's really cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're a much more open, nice guy than I am because I was brought up in I was brought up in outside of Newark, New Jersey, in the Italian section called Down Neck, which is like Sharia law, basically.
Well, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, so
yeah,
I'm
all of his girlfriends slept with black guys,
but I'm good with all.
How much Chuck Berry?
I'm good with all.
Well, I mean,
Chuck Berry is my neighbor, by the way.
How's he doing?
He's still kicking, man. He still does shows. It's incredible. He's 91.
Does he still do shows?
Wow.
He still does shows.
I love Chuck Berry. Well, I know you got to go. I know you got to be on another C-list comics podcast. But Joe, again,
this has got to be the first time. Hey, this has got to be the first time that somebody's called into your podcast while walking around a Zara store in Midtown while his wife shops.
Well, that's the difference between a white guy and a black guy when you date them. I'm sure Richard Dent did not go to Zara.
I'm going to let you guys catch that out.
Real quick, because your favorite Dan Patrick episode, just like the funniest one, just so you.
It's so hard to pick one.
Joe, listen, I love you, and I wish you nothing but the best. Tell Chris Long to call me, and good luck on the Audience Network, man. I'm sure you're going to be the #1 show there, which means you're beating reruns of the Rockford Files.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, thanks.
When's the show premiere?
Tomorrow night, Wednesday. I don't know when this airs, so it ends. It begins. Who knows when it ends? But it begins on Wednesday, the 18th of November.
Great. On the Audience Network on DirecTV and
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Derek Jeter, and the book comes out next. I can't wait to read the book and listen to you. Basically, where are you next with the NFL? What's the next game you're doing?
Green Bay at Minnesota.
Are you just Green Bay every week or what?
I think I can vote there.
Yeah.
Or I may run for city council. I don't know.
All right, brother. Well, thanks, Joe. I love you, man.
All right, man. See you guys.
Be well. Be well. That's Joe Buck walking around a Zara. What is a Zara?
It's a clothing store?
It's a clothing store?
I think so.
Oh, God, she must run up that tab.
It's expensive. For real.
She's just walking around.
It's expensive.
Russ is a ladies' man. You would never tolerate that from a woman.
No, never.
Russ is one of the few guys who can order women around.
That's
Daryl too. I met Daryl last night. We both did a show at Gotham, Laugh for Sight. A real funny guy, and I'm glad you could come here. We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break, but I have a fitting now. Aubrey, what's up?
Is he here?
Yeah,
that's
from the HBO show Crashing. We have to figure out what fits me because it's a conundrum. Right?
Okay.
We'll be back after this. Yeah, it's. You ready? All right, we're back here. I'm in the middle of a wardrobe fitting for this HBO show. Aubrey from Wardrobe is here. It's so funny when people think show business is still formal. Like they said, well, you're going to have a show costume, like what you would wear for a show. And it's like, I just wear, it's like I roll out of bed and do stand-up. People think, I'm Tony Bennett or something. But the great thing about these shows is that sometimes you get great clothes. That leather, Aubrey, what's the deal with that leather jacket? Can I have that leather jacket?
They never let you keep them, though.
Well, sometimes like when you're on a series, like when I was on Mad TV and the Norm Show, they lasted a couple of years, so I got suits, everything, man. I had to fucking, because they had to have me in every type of article of clothing in case they write in a wedding scene or anything. So I just never bought any clothes for like 2 years. I just would go to the wardrobe and just get shit for. I went to 2 weddings in L.A. and I just wore suits that they had. It was great. But I guess there's 3 different changes. So it's so simple for me to dress because I always look like a slob. And it's funny how much time they put into me dressing. It's hilarious. I feel bad though because they got to do their job, and he's got to get all these different looks and.
What is a different look for a slob?
Well, there's a lot of different slobs.
Is it like slob chic or something? Like?
Well, yeah, there's slob just get out of bed. There's slob going to the Emmys. There's slob going
tuxedo T-shirt.
Yeah, to get a deal at Sirius. There you go. And that
little teaser.
So I'm looking at this Paris shit. We got to talk about this.
Okay.
Now there's another fucking. A big soccer game that just got canceled because they had a valid threat that there was a truck bomb. So it's like we're now pounding. France is now pounding with our help ISIS. It's funny when CNN puts this up there. You don't know what you're looking at. It's just a close up of things blowing up, and they go, "That's ISIS this, ISIS that." We're now just after Paris. Forget it. It's like after 9/11. Everyone's in, and we're just pounding the shit out of something. But it's clear that they now have all these operatives all over the fucking place. Let me ask you this. Here's the big question. No. Do we let one of those refugees in the country from Syria?
It's the hard part is that more Muslims have been killed and have been victims of this kind of terrorism.
Right. These people. Right. The real law-abiding Muslims are just as terrorized. Right.
And it's
they're
very
saying
difficult.
We have terrorists within those refugees, just like one of the guys in Paris was in Iraq.
Yeah.
So the American way is totally these poor fucking obviously 4-year-olds aren't fucking terrorists, and they're crying, starving, they're intense. I mean, the attention a baby needs. They're just like homeless babies right now.
Yeah.
Can I sound like an asshole?
Well, no. I mean, a lot of Americans are sounding like an asshole.
Can I sound like an
Go
asshole?
ahead.
It's like this, man. The bottom line is this. In my mind, it's like, okay, we got enough problems here, and that went from what I was talking about last night. Now that I'm a taxpayer, I look at shit completely different. Like,
how long have you been a taxpayer?
Like 3 years. Like I've been paying taxes for 3 years because I sold dope most of my life. But this comedy shit is traceable.
Yeah,
and it's like,
absolutely,
no, I'm a taxpayer.
Yeah, well,
ain't that traceable?
Actually, yeah, the comedy show is not traceable.
It's more traceable than dope dealing. But,
that's true.
Yeah.
I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, but so go ahead. Now that you're a taxpayer, what?
So it's like, dog, that's not my problem. I'm sorry that your country screwed up, but that's not my problem. And people might be like, you're an asshole. Look, it's Negroes getting shot, executed on the streets right now. I could care less whether your country is getting blown the fuck to bits.
So you say not one refugee. We shouldn't take one in because they might be a terrorist. It's not our problem.
I'm not saying that, but just do the paperwork. Not just an open door, but do the paperwork.
So there is a screening process.
It's got to be a screen.
Like, that's definite.
Well, what is that screening process?
It's got.
How do you tell the difference between one adult male, a 30-year-old Syrian who's not a terrorist, and one who is, if they're both saying, I'm not? Because clearly they're going to say they're not.
I would hope the appropriate people with the training and the years of doing this, years and years and years, would be effective.
Right.
And if it's smoke coming out of one of their asses, he's probably a terrorist.
That I would be suspicious of.
But
there's experts saying it's very limited.
It's very limited. When you have an open door policy, it is very limited. Yeah. But it's like, dog, if you're willing to do the paperwork and sit right here until we verify all of this stuff.
Right.
Cool. If not,
takes a long time. A lot of money too.
Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like,
where do the other people go while that's happening? It's such a complicated fucking.
It is, but it's like, you know what? Safety first, bro.
Here's what sucks. Where I agree with what you're saying about the sort of, sounding like an asshole thing. Yeah, Saudi Arabia has so much room. Dubai, and that's you don't have to change their climate. They can acclimate better. It's
they have no problem with telling them to kiss their ass,
and they don't give a shit.
But it's a matter of room. It's not a matter of room.
It's a matter of some countries say that. That's a problem. That's the problem with Paris, by the way. The Muslim community in Paris, they live in the worst of conditions, and these people just bleed into that population.
Dubai,
and it's very easy to get a powder keg going, because they live like
got
shit.
So much money. It's Arab dudes playing demolition derby with like Maseratis. But
I'm saying, we're always so nice when everyone around us is clearly not being nice. I love how we're pretending France has always been our glad ally forever. That's bullshit. They haven't been our fucking. We couldn't fly over their airspace.
No, this is my thing. Why is it like I look at America as the ex-husband of the rest of the world. Like, why do we keep giving countries money?
Yeah.
Why do we keep giving countries money that talk shit about us? Like, every time you turn around, Paris don't like us, Saudi Arabia doesn't like us, Syria hates us. But then, as soon as some shit happened,
I guess oil really makes you the world's bitch.
Yeah, well,
it just does.
Yeah, well, few funds or money or help is being given over without a direct benefit to us. Now, we may not be aware totally of that, but believe me, this is benefiting us.
Yeah, I mean, we're evil enough to the point where we're getting something out of it. It may
I don't know
not
how
be
we doesn't have to be
obvious,
evil. We can get a benefit
why
and
didn't this
help
country
the world. I mean,
why
that's
doesn't this
right.
country go straight bad guy? Like, just go and just.
We can't do it publicly. I mean, look, you're right. Some people want to do that after
Well, do what?
shit happens.
Do what?
Because
become a bad guy.
Because most of the
mean?
world looks at us like we're the bad guy anyway, so just go straight bad guy. Like, go on some Dark Knight killing Harvey Dent shit.
that's happening.
Defining bad guy
That
would be having not one refugee's coming here. Not one's coming.
Right.
That's bad guy to me.
And what are you gonna do about it? Nothing but cry. And have the same attitude that you already had about us in the first place, which was that we're evil. So what changes if you don't let a?
But how
refugee-
isolated do we get? Do we just let this happen all over the world? And shit in Paris happen. We got to look like we're with these people and we're your brothers and sisters. Blah blah blah. You're right. There's so many problems here. The infrastructure, bridges are falling down. Tunnels need work. There's a lot of money that could be spent here. We have a military that's the best in the world, but do we need to keep proving that to people by spending money on it? Does that make us safer? Every Republican candidate, except Rand Paul, said, we got to build up our military. Isn't it built up?
Yeah. Right.
Don't we have the best shit?
No, what needs to happen, man. No, what needs to happen is that we need to turn off the TV. Like, the U.S. needs to cut the feed to everybody for like a week.
Yeah, well,
I don't know about that.
That is bad, guy.
Hold up, and let our military do what they do, and this will be over in a week. This is what I always.
Okay, but
say.
when the next ISIS comes, that's what we try.
There is no next ISIS. This
We're gonna piss somebody off, and
They're all over the world.
Yeah.
And Obama said it best yesterday, I believe it was, is that when you have people that have this kind of ideology and they're willing to die,
you can't fight them.
It's not. There's no sophistication to them, no technology.
Let me tell you
they're
something.
willing to die.
Tell you who you can negotiate with is a gangster, which is what Saddam Hussein was. He wanted money.
Yeah.
He was a fucking gangster.
And didn't want to
a
die.
religious nut
Right.
who can die. You can't talk to that person.
Let me tell you
That's
something.
right.
Let me
No
tell you,
way.
and this is speaking from, and maybe this is the ideology of somebody that is a different color. Let me tell you something. When this country wants someone dead, they die.
Right.
And this is coming from a black man that knows you can get killed. So if you in the U.S. just turn off the cameras for a week, because there's going to be some collateral damage. You don't need to see the kids getting blown up.
that's
But let me tell you something.
So how you think
they
that's-
can take care of what
So,
they have to take care of.
Start with your
to get
premise.
rid
Let
of
me start
ISIS.
with your premise. There's no way that's ever going to happen.
I know it's not going to
will
happen.
never-
But if it did, what would happen after that? The problem is a lot of
Let
these
me tell you
guys.
something. People-
Bush to me went in to do this because he wanted to prove to
He had the
Daddy
cameras
I
on.
can go and do what you did.
He had the cameras on.
Absolutely. There was pressure on him, and he had to prove he was a tough guy, or whatever the fuck happened. And when we took down Hussein said Iraq's going to be a bitter pill to swallow. And they were all. Now there's no fucking water. There's no electricity. We blew up their country, and they're like, "What the fuck are you going to do now, America?" And that's how ISIS starts. That's how this shit starts. We created it.
Yeah, a guy was just on the other day, and he's like, They sell this to these young, disenfranchised youths, these young guys, and here's the option. You want to go work a menial job, have a horrible life, or live this exciting
Fight
life
for
with
God.
ISIS, fight for God, and this big apocalyptic, exciting thing, and there's women, and there's everything.
We can get people. Fuck the people over there. They're getting kids in Minnesota to do it.
Right. Girls are going over there crazy.
Right.
And what's going to happen is this. If you turn the cameras off and let the U.S. do what they do.
Right.
Don't ask no questions and then turn the cameras back on. Oh, my God, it's no ISIS. Know what happens when the next generation of ISIS comes around? All of us have a grandmother.
Yeah.
And then the dude goes home. He's like, I'm joining ISIS. That's when grandma's like, I saw what happened last time that y'all started some shit with that country. Leave it alone and go to work.
Daryl will not be on any party.
That's a great comedy routine.
No. Because this is what happened. Okay, I'm a grown man, and even before I came here to do the show last night, I stayed at my mom's house. Got up, got ready to come up here.
Okay.
My mom said, "Make the bed."
Right.
I'm like, I ain't making shit. I'm a grown man, Ma. I just closed the door. Like, if you want to see the bed made, the door is closed. And she was like, look, before you come downstairs, make the bed.
Okay.
And I made the bed.
Right.
Just is
now
what it
relate
is.
that to ISIS.
ISIS is good. Now, hold up.
You're a grown man arguing with your mother over making your bed.
okay.
Hold on.
I would do the same thing, by the way.
All of them got mothers and fathers. If the U.S. does what they need to do, which is not pretty, it's going to be collateral damage, which people don't need to see. War is not supposed to be.
Well, what's your idea of
Okay.
collateral damage? What are you thinking?
Collateral
You talking
damage,
mass
it's gonna be-
murder, or what?
Probably.
Wow.
Probably.
It's gonna be hard to sell this political.
That's why I
platform,
said turn the cameras off.
Right. And then
AOE.
that's what the
And then turn
recruiters
them
of the
back
next
on.
ISIS use exactly what we did as
And guess what?
a
You have to
reason
go
get them.
home. You have to go home with your ISIS badge on and talk to grandma. And it's like last time that y'all started this dumb shit.
Right.
You see what happened. Like, because we won't see it, but they saw it. And it's like, dog, we ain't having that.
Well, we should put this proposal in writing.
Well,
Listen, I think we're all fucking frustrated over
just-
here. The anger that you're projecting with this is very real, and
Because we
I
can't
get
fathom.
it. But to me, it's such a you can't. You don't know where the next fucking
We can't
terrorist is
fathom
coming
something
from.
that's stupid.
let me take the other side of that a little bit on some level. Is that with what we have intact with the FBI, CIA, aren't you amazed and impressed at the same time at how nothing has happened here
In New York, you're
In
right.
New York,
Something what you're talking about might be going on right now. We might be
Right.
doing that whole like turn the cameras off thing with people that they're finding. They're
Right.
trying to blow up the Holland Tunnel maybe twice a day.
Oh, that's happened.
Yeah,
But, yeah, they've-
right.
Do you really
I'm
be-
certain they've stopped.
Do you
things.
really
It's
believe?
amazing what they've done.
Do you really believe?
That's true. It is.
Doug, do
Yeah.
you really believe that this could happen in Paris and people ain't trying it here?
Oh, of course they are.
So it's
New
like-
York is still the crown jewel.
that's the
and
point,
Russ's
though.
point
Right.
is like, yeah, it's amazing that it hasn't yet.
Because we don't know and we aren't supposed to know something.
And just,
Okay, so
just
wha-
one plot has to get through. Though.
Right, so-
we
so-
could stop 1,000 a day. If one
Right.
guy makes it,
That's
we're
right.
fucked. You know?
But that
Exactly.
contradicts your point. So,
Which is?
well, the point you want to go in and just light it up. We don't need to. We are able to stop what's happening here, and it's amazing because since 9/11, there has been nothing like what's happened in Paris.
But don't you think?
But you also
eventually
gotta add into
we're-
Paris,
We're gonna
you
not.
ought-
Okay,
stop?
eventually, yeah, but you got to be impressed by.
I
what's
am, man,
happened.
and they get a badge. I'll
But you have
I'll
to-
pin a medal on them today, but
Yeah.
that
You also
doesn't
have to add it into
work on tomorrow.
You
know?
also have to add in the calculation of we also haven't had that many refugees just flood our country at one time either.
Oh no! I mean, again,
So
that's a whole other issue.
This is a whole series of circumstances that we haven't faced. And to be honest, it's like I'm just talking shit, but just the frustration I think that we feel
That's where it comes from.
as
Sure,
a
yeah,
country
yeah.
because we can't fathom something that stupid.
But what is
and
the
I
policy?
think
what are we allowing in? What's the number? I know Germany's
I'm talking
allowing
about
800,000.
Germany wants 800,000. And
That's insane.
listen, so when something happens in Berlin, then
yeah,
what are we
right.
going to
It's
do?
just we can't really fathom it. And even the guys in
I don't know
Wisconsin,
what the number is, yeah.
Even the guys in Wisconsin
Right.
that go to join ISIS, that's
Yeah.
real simple. That's some American shit. It's some
Well,
girl.
to me, they're mentally ill already.
No,
those
it's very-
people. They're vulnerable.
Artie, it's simple, dog. They didn't get no pussy in high school, so they're mad at bitches.
Yeah.
ISIS is mad at bitches,
Right.
and they just are like, okay, the reason that I didn't get no ass is because bitches ain't shit, so I'm gonna join ISIS.
Right.
Dog, that's some American shit. That has nothing to do with theology. That's called I can't get no pussy.
But no pussy in
And
high school is
I
a
need to
very real thing.
But
And I need to explain it somehow,
Yeah.
and this theology explains why I didn't get no pussy, so I'm gonna go blow
But
something else.
why? I need to read more about this.
Absolutely.
But why do they hate us so much? Why?
I think there's different ways to interpret all religion. To me, the Quran, the Bible, the one thing that when people interpret it wrong to me, or literally is to have any sort of pleasure is a sin. Like honestly, like in the Bible, the Sodom and Gomorrah, like they were having too much fucking fun. There was a big party.
Yeah, but then you hear about. Oh, go ahead.
They come down and like God's like, no, you stop. This is ridiculous. You guys are having too much fucking fun. You got to start, thinking about, other people, selfish, blah blah blah. I think the Quran takes that to another level of like with the women about women can't have orgasms.
Mm-hmm.
They can't have sex with someone who's not their arranged husband. So when they see that and they're that extreme with it. Then they see us just watch one, watch one
Empire.
Super Bowl party on
Watch
MTV. Watch
Empire.
one. To me, and it goes. And then listen, it goes back to even what you just said. The no pussy in high school thing. It's like frustrated people
Right. Yeah.
who maybe because it's their law or because they can't. They're not invited to the party.
Exactly.
Lash out in anger.
You
And
don't have to-
I
you
think
don't-
that's what it's
Well,
about. It's
the
about.
Yeah, the Bible is just as extreme in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
Now, hold up,
okay,
now,
no,
hold
but
The whole
they
New
don't have the
Testament's about
they
not
don't
being
ha-
rich.
Okay,
Being
so-
rich is a sin.
So let's take the religion out of it in
Right.
that respect. So when they're given the opportunity, we've seen like Osama bin Laden and these guys, they always have tons of wives, pornography.
Absolutely.
Hey.
So,
Muhammad Atta and those guys were in strip
Right.
clubs in Fort Lauderdale 2
Hey.
weeks before.
so
yeah.
it's that they're so
was
broke
that.
and they have nothing and they see the party going on
Absolutely.
here. And then you got to say to yourself, okay, so I'd love to know exactly how much of the oil wealth is being transferred down onto the people, and it's usually a couple percent.
In what country over there?
Or wherever.
Oh, forget
No,
it. None of
so
it.
it's like a very small percentage that are these sheiks, these oil sheiks, and everybody else is starving. So
And they
think,
get mad, absolutely. And
Right.
we
So
finance the oppressor of that, right?
Because we want the
absolutely.
oil. So,
Yeah.
so they're left with, dude. Imagine how you would be if you had nothing and
Yeah.
you were broke.
And we're the country having all this fucking fun.
Right.
Not only are they not
It's-
invited to our party,
Right.
they're watching us have all this fun and send
They're
money
funding
to the
it.
send money to the people
Right.
that oppress them.
Right.
And so. Listen, you get me at a rally with a couple of drinks in me, I go, let's bomb the motherfucker. You know?
Right.
And we sell them the arms to keep the people down. We
Right.
sell them the machine
Yes.
guns
Yep.
and the planes.
We give them the power. That's
Right.
right. And first of all, dope too. Fuck oil.
Yeah.
Dope is their bigger moneymaker.
Yeah.
Opiates. The
Yep.
poppy.
Oh,
they
which goes
fucking-
back to
right, yeah. They're drug
why
dealers.
aren't drugs legal? I can't legislate your stupidity.
You know, that
It's
would help.
like, I
that
don't
would help a
understand-
lot. But
I don't
you know.
understand legislation of people's dog. It's idiots everywhere. I can't legislate your dumbness.
You need that to happen would help, and you need a viable option other than oil, and I don't see that happening. You know, these electric
No, we have
cars,
to-
you got to charge them every 20 feet. That's not happening. You know, it's, what are you going to do? We need
No, it's
gas,
weird.
and we like dope.
You know, it's weird because whenever a conversation about theology starts, it's weird. Both of my parents are pastors. They're doctors
Oh,
of
okay.
theology.
Hardcore.
Not really, because I grew up and my father was
You
a
Southern Baptist?
Yep.
Is that what they are? Okay.
And my father is a doctor of theology and also a pastor.
Okay.
But I grew up with my father who was a bad drunk.
Right. Okay.
Awful
So
drunk.
there's a fucking
So-
paradox there, right?
so
it's a
I-
contradiction.
No, not really, because I watched him grow into the person that he is now.
Yeah.
And he's really understanding as far as the theology part, as far as, look, people fuck up, because I fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's not as hardcore. And I think, like any other publication, the Bible can be used if you take it out of context
Sure.
to justify anything.
Capitalism. You could justify
Like-
that capitalism is the work of
If
the
you
devil
take-
if you interpret
right,
the Bible
If you
literally.
take one verse out of a whole fucking paragraph, you can misconstrue that any way that you want to. But the basis of the Bible is this: is one simple thing. And same with the Quran. If you studied it, you treat other people like you want to
the
be treated.
golden rule, right? Exactly.
That's it. That's it. You can throw the rest of that shit out, and if you treat somebody like you want to be treated, all of this shit.
Okay, so if that's how you interpret it, then how do we go back to these people that we're talking about before? If they're getting treated like shit by us,
look
and they
at-
interpret it's us and their king,
But-
whatever.
But do you want to be treated
you know,
like
what do
shit?
you do?
Well, this country started by us not wanting to be oppressed and overtaxed by Britain.
Right.
So
the
we
same
were the
exact-
ISIS.
yeah,
George
absolutely,
Washington
yeah.
was the ISIS of America.
Right. Right.
And so you got to say to yourself, what is their perspective? What is bringing them to this crazy point?
and then,
it's
but here's the
extreme
thing: so
poverty,
once you
nothing. Yeah, go
once you
ahead.
figure that out, how do you change it? You
Very
can't.
simple.
I
Very
don't know.
simple.
I'm sure
Without
better minds than
changing
me have
our
tried.
without
I
cha-
believe-
exactly. It's so. How
I
do you
truly
change
believe-
our lives?
I truly believe capitalism, even with its flaws, can change the world because of this. If I got a house and I got a kid, I'm not blowing myself up. Like if I'm
Right,
making
that's
enough.
right.
Well, also, if you have hope
Right,
for
hope.
maybe
Hope is
making money and
Great,
getting and
great
getting,
point.
Hope,
Because they have
exactly,
fucking no
exactly.
hope.
exactly. You
Exactly.
need hope to live and want to live and improve yourself and and not do the shit like you said, the golden rule, to not do shit to other people.
Because guess what?
Because you have hope, and that's what we have in this country. Like I started out as I was a longshoreman. I barely got out of high school, and I'm making a living as a stand-up comedian.
That's
That's
what
what I mean. You know,
this is what we have.
We're
An
all,
option-
we're all a miracle
Option
here.
to tell jokes.
You know
for a
what's
living.
fucking funny? I was just talking to Russ. I'm a felon that shot a crackhead. If you had told me when I was in jail that I would be sitting here with Artie Lang from the fucking Howard Stern show.
Well,
I
I'm a
would've told
felon
you-
too. That's the other thing. I mean,
Congratulations.
Yeah,
bro.
right, exactly.
Do you have your passport yet?
I do have it.
I don't have mine yet, bro.
I got mine
I'm
4
still
years
waiting on
later.
it. Oh my god! I still don't
But
have mine.
I'm saying it's like, look at your life now. I saw you last night getting paid to do stand-up comedy. You were in jail at one point. We all have hope. Even in jail, there's some sort of hope in this country.
Yep.
And if you take that away from these people, and it looks like we're the ones financing the people that are taking that hope away,
Right.
I think you can get them together in any public square or secret
Yeah.
meeting.
We
and
would say the same thing.
Convince
We would say the
them,
same thing.
Absolutely.
That's the same
Yeah.
thing. That's the same
And
thing.
the England's a perfect analogy. That's what they were
it
doing.
really is. And
the
that's the
king
same
was
thing.
doing that to us.
Yes.
That's the same thing that's going on in a sort of a way with that Black Lives Matter bullshit. But
Well,
I just
that's
think-
our issue over here. That's a
right.
separate
We have
thing,
that
yeah.
issue, but the whole thing is, I think that's all a crock. And maybe I hope I don't get you in trouble for this, but I think it's a crock of shit because of this.
The Black Lives Matter thing is a crock of shit.
Yeah, because
well,
of
listen.
this.
I mean, look, there's a lot of
Because of
people.
this.
There's some
Because
people
of this.
making sure of it. There's some
Because
idiots
of
who
this.
do it in their name that are doing stupid shit.
Because of this, dog. I'm a felon. I just started paying taxes 3 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
I've run into cops, had no trouble out of them. Why? Because I pay taxes.
Right.
That was the
How'd they know that,
was the
by the way?
greatest. That was the greatest line. I was able to use the line "I'm a taxpayer" on a cop like 2 years ago.
Right.
It was fucking awesome.
That is great, right?
Like, excuse me, why are you
I
pulling me
doubt
over?
that you
I'm a taxpayer.
you hesitated to use it 5 years ago.
Oh no. That five
I
years-
don't pay your salary. I know you pay my salary. No, I don't pay your salary.
No, I wouldn't have broke that out 5 years
I'm
ago.
a drug dealer. I don't pay taxes.
Okay, how's that sound, fucker?
Fucker.
That is funny.
No, but it's true. It's like if you keep yourself out of a situation where you're going to be in that situation,
Sure.
because if you think the only person that I've seen that got shot for absolutely no reason was the guy in South Carolina, and
That was the word. When
and
I
the
saw
guy in
that,
South Carolina,
the cop looked like he just didn't want to run.
Right. Yeah, it's like no.
Throw the tape.
Brutal.
It's like, no, really.
Yeah.
But other than that, everybody else had done something. Oh, and the little kid in Chicago. It's only 2 cases where it was people that hadn't broken the law in some form.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, look
if
at
you-
Chicago. Look
so
what's
if
going
you-
on in Chicago right
Dog,
now. I mean, who's
how
going?
can
What
you
about
say-
fixing that?
How can you say Black Lives Matter to the cops, which is true, but dog, it's 30 motherfuckers getting killed every weekend.
black people are
And
killing
then-
black people,
And
yeah.
then you got the audacity to not clean up your own community, and then got the audacity to say, why are y'all doing this? It's like, dog, somewhere you have to draw the line and say, if we clean up our own community, then I expect a certain type of service. That's just capitalism.
Sure.
If my money is going toward paying your salary and I've helped to clean up my own community, I don't expect you to shoot me during a traffic stop.
Well, listen, a cop. That's the other thing. You're putting not only the people, in the projects in Chicago, whatever the new
I was in
Cabrini,
Chicago.
whatever the new Cabrini Green is. Those people have no hope, and the cops, guess what? They have no hope either. They're in a hopeless. Both people are in hopeless situations. So bad shit's gonna fucking happen.
It's just gonna happen, and it's just like
that 9-year-old kid story is the fucking
awful.
saddest. I mean, so if a cop sees that, what do they do? What do you do? It's like, but that is bringing that up is good because we're dealing with ISIS 12,000 miles away
Right.
when the shit's happening right here, man.
It's
you
right,
know?
and it's like the whole gun control thing, all of those things, man. And this is speaking from somebody who is a criminal at heart. I'm a criminal at heart, bro. Let me tell you something. It's easy as shit to get
No
a gun
knock on
right now.
our reforming legal
It's
system.
easy as shit to get a gun right now, bro. It's easy as hell.
I can get you a gun in 2 minutes.
Thank you. And you mean to tell me you can get me an AK with a banana clip, and I'm not completely sober and sane either.
Right.
Like, it's a bunch of club owners that I'd like to walk in and just blow their head off. But
you can book
thankfully,
him. His booking agent is.
No, we've said this before, right? If the only people who died in 9/11 were comedy club owners and booking agents, I would have not been for going into that.
I would.
So funny. It's funny.
It's true, man. And it's like, you know what? Just because we're kind of sane enough not to do it, everybody isn't.
You're right. We're expected to be the rational people, and America is expected to be the mature. And Barack Obama's Obama's a rock star, man. He is the epitome of. He's a smooth motherfucker, and I like that we give that image to the rest of the world. But I think the fact that people don't think he's crazy, they're not that scared of him. Like Putin is a gangster. Putin's crazy. So people are kind of scared of him. Barack Obama gives off this like rational, intelligent guy, which I think he is,
But the rest
who
of the
always
world-
tries to look at, okay, how do I fix this in the best way
The big
where
picture.
no one gets hurt? And the rest
But
of the world sees that
is-
as a weakness.
But
Yeah.
no, I don't think they see it as a weakness. I think the rest of the world isn't ready for that type of leader that's rational.
well,
because they're
no,
so
some of them
used-
are,
the leaders
yeah.
are
because they're-
behind Obama.
because they're
the
used-
majority
people
are.
like him, but
They
Putin
like
seems
him.
to be
Putin's
nuts.
a little nuts.
Putin is Putin, but I think the rationality of him is something that's so refreshing for the world. Because we think about it, we've had a bunch of crazy dudes running this country.
They seem it. I mean, Bush's eyes either look stupid or crazy. The
Crazy.
second one,
Crazy.
Dummy.
Crazy.
you know, you go back to watch Obama. That's the best way to describe him. He's a rock star, man.
Yeah.
He was singing when the Republicans were debating the last election. The
That was
same
funny.
day, the same day they were all on the cover of the New York Times in 2012. He was singing "Sweet Home Chicago" with Mick Jagger at the White House.
Just chilling.
Can Nixon do that?
He's so great.
Right, and that gets votes, you know. But I think people in the world are scared of nuts. They're scared of crazy people, and sometimes that works in war. I don't want to. I mean, Donald Trump clearly seems to be losing it, right? And Ben Carson says crazy.
Ben
things.
Carson is
Yeah.
crazy as
He
a bag of
seems
monkeys.
nuts. He does say nutty shit.
No, he. It's sad because he was a hero of mine growing up because he worked at Johns Hopkins.
Neurosurgeon, man.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
I didn't know all the rest of this,
yeah.
but I came from D.C., Annapolis, Baltimore, all that, and you have this black man that's a neurosurgeon
And
at
came
Johns
from
Hopkins.
real nothing too. Yeah.
Johns
Yeah.
Hopkins, and he was the first guy to separate trends conjoined by the brain.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right.
I
No,
read his
that's
biography.
unbelievable.
I read his biography, Gentle Hands, and if you had told me that the guy that wrote Gentle Hands was
Gifted
this
Hands,
dude,
right?
I mean,
Gifted
Gifted
Hands.
Hands,
But
was
no,
this
right,
guy,
yeah.
it's like
Gentle Hands was the kid from Jared from Subway. But no, you know, guess what happened to Ben Carson that made him nuts? Religion.
Yeah.
That's what happened to him. He had an epiphany with God and it started to interpret the Bible literally to the point where he has Proverbs sandblasted into the side of his fucking house.
Does he really?
It says John 2:50, whatever the fuck. So that's what made him a lunatic.
Let me tell you
Religion.
that. Let me
Think
tell you
about
Well,
that.
just because he's a neurosurgeon, I don't think we need to give him all this credit that he's
Not as a
great.
politician,
Yeah,
not as
at
a
all.
politician, no.
And just
Crazy
'cause-
doctors.
And by the way,
are.
just because Trump's a businessman doesn't make
Yeah,
him a
right,
politician
right,
either.
right.
You
Trump
gotta-
went bankrupt 7 times.
Well, yeah.
How in the hell is he the business model that you want
He
for
claims,
this
I
country?
used that law to my advantage. You understand? Whatever. You're right. The politicians need to be diplomatic. There's skills you have in a business that's not, you can't relate to politics. You know,
Right.
you can't
Obama's
just yell at
the-
somebody.
You're not going to see better than him. That's for sure.
No,
for
not
that
when it
time.
comes
we
to
aren't.
that either. But he's
And
going to
we aren't.
go, and I don't think Hillary's the answer.
And you know what?
And,
100 years from now, when this country looks back at Obama's presidency, they will be amazed by what he did. Right
well,
now,
he inherited the problem. With the only negative is he inherited shit. It got shittier. Guess what? It's going to get shittier for the next guy too. You know, I think they'll look back and it'll be an underrated presidency. But
no. I think that they'll look back and find his presidency one of the most amazing presidencies.
Why?
Just because of how he handled certain things coming into what he came into.
Yeah.
To handle what he handled in the way that it did, because 8 years is not a long time, and me and Russ were talking about how time flies. 8 years is not a long time to
Certainly
put
not.
stuff like the bottom line is Obamacare. Just having the possibility of having universal health care in this country.
it's a great thing. No, absolutely.
Now,
But-
just
but-
because it doesn't work right now, just having that idea and putting it into motion, somebody's going to make it actually work.
Yeah.
But just to have that forethought that this country should be on that track.
And that's a great
is
thing.
amazing.
That's a great thing. You talk about economy, jobs,
you
unemployment,
look at-
everything we should talk about, but national debt, all that bullshit. But the one political issue that is going to be the thing everyone remembers from the first 20 years of the 21st century is terrorism. That's and he inherited a shitstorm from George Bush, and because no human being knows how to make it better, it got worse.
George
And
Bush
the next
was-
guy is going to inherit a shitstorm.
Okay, bottom
too.
line is, who was president when those towers that we're looking at through these windows went down?
Bush. But listen.
But know what? At the end of the
Clinton
day,
was there for the USS Cole, and
But
those
that
are-
wasn't.
First bombing on the.
But that wasn't the towers, bro. Like, who was president during that? And all you hear is terrorism is getting worse and blah blah. Dog, who was the president?
That is coincidence, I think, though.
It's a coincidence, but if you're going to use that in a political forum,
you could, and Trump did. Trump said exactly what you just said. He was the president when the tariffs. But Russ's point before is a good one too. Of like, look how he reacted to it. Nothing even close has happened since. I mean, he clamped down in a way. Maybe, and there was shit. If you watch any documentary about that, the CIA and the FBI weren't sharing shit. It probably wasn't his fault.
By the way. Do you know anybody who has an Obama phone that's not doing dirty shit?
Obama phone?
Yeah.
What is Obama?
It's one of those free phones for welfare.
Oh, of course.
No, do you know anybody that has an Obama phone that's not doing dirty shit? Because I've met like 20 people that have one, and all of them
disposable cell phone is if you're dating somebody with a disposable that's a red flag.
I met like 20 motherfuckers with an Obama phone, and all of them are doing dirty shit and
is that what they call it, an Obama?
Yeah,
Obama phone.
And they are beating up their girlfriends. It's like the
something's
Obama
going
phone,
on.
Like the Obama phone, that's that free phone, is the worst thing for domestic violence since Bud Light, because motherfuckers can keep track of their girl. Because now they have a phone and they have GPS on it. So it's like, why are you over at his house? And then they go over and whip their ass. So it's like, I think that was a bad idea on Obama.
Look at the people who don't like Easy Pass, because it tracks where you are.
What type of...
The people who don't use Easy Pass is hilarious, too.
Are you kidding me?
Those days are over. You're tracked no matter what.
Are you kidding me? People don't use Easy Pass because it tells them where
GPS in their car.
Your phone.
That's my favorite thing Tony Soprano ever said in a fucking episode of The Sopranos.
Is that what he said?
The guy who ran the car dealership said, I sent you over that new Mercedes. You like it? He goes, you got to pull a fucking GPS out of it, motherfucker. What are you sending me that GPS shit for? they don't want to know where they've been.
That's funny.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I mean, clearly you're doing nefarious shit or cheating on your wife or something going on. But the question is, so the refugee thing, okay, right there, it's hard to say don't take anybody because we are Americans, but if you take somebody, what's going to happen? The other question is privacy, the NSA, that whole Snowden thing.
Okay.
After something like this happens, everybody now, you can hear them, the rhetoric starting of like, we got to spy on everybody.
No, it's funny.
What do you do there?
My father also was a cryptographer for NSA.
Was he
Wow.
really? Wow.
How convenient
25
that
years.
given this topic that
Well,
just come up.
what does he think of Snowden?
What do you think of Snowden?
Snowden, the whistleblower.
He thinks Snowden should have been killed a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's loyal to the NSA, and well, after something like this, do you give the NSA that unlimited power now
Yes.
just to prevent? You say yes.
I say yes.
So you don't mind them looking at your texts
because of
and
this.
everything?
Because of this.
3 years ago, you would have said nothing.
No, exactly. See, that's the whole thing. Now that I'm legal,
Right,
I have no
exactly.
problem with you listening to my conversation. Now, if you hear some freaky shit where I'm sticking cocaine up some girl's ass, that's not my problem.
If you're not selling it,
but I'm not selling it.
You could say I'm hiding it. Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
you're texting and emailing is.
I have no problem with that.
What about that,
It's
Russ?
not private. It's not private.
It's not.
I have no problem with it.
Google's whole
They can
algorithm.
see it, right.
You could be typing, a word comes up that you're typing, and it relates to ads that they're selling, and the ads start coming
That's
up on
right.
the side.
It's fucking weird. Absolutely.
Maybe it comes from somebody, and maybe Artie, you can maybe you feel the same way. As far as somebody that's been to jail and had all of your actions fucking everything just scrutinized, when you get out and you know that you're living a certain way, it doesn't really bother you because I've already been in that situation. So I don't know how somebody who's had that freedom their whole time would feel about all of a sudden being scrutinized like that. But me, I've had to take a shower with niggas with like 12-foot dicks. So for real, you like
Big
me
dick.
too. So you like looking at my email is not a big thing, dog. Like,
No, I mean that's a good point. If you're living a straight life, why not? But again, it's just the idea of America. Is that an American way to be? But if you tell most people no, I want my privacy, but then you tell them what you just said, wake up anyway. It doesn't, this shit can. If you're arrested, they can find these texts no matter when you sent them.
Your cell phone on it, you could be tracked anywhere.
It's all out there.
Yeah.
But literally, you order some on Amazon, they know.
Yep.
AT&T, they know.
Yep.
That Citizen 4 documentary about Snowden, the shit they talk about is AT&T alone at the NSA was getting 400 million people's information a week from AT&T alone.
So what?
AT&T is betraying their people.
So what per se would be quote unquote privacy in the age that we live in, considering that people put their business out on Twitter every fucking minute.
You're right. There's probably
what is
it's naive to think.
what is privacy in 2015?
Russ, it's naive to think.
Naive to that. And the guy from the FBI did an interview. He said Facebook is the greatest thing for this department that's ever happened, ever. The people that they've caught doing stuff and able to track and catch before something happens.
Yeah.
But it is naive to think that
what is the definition,
any privacy at all.
What is the definition of privacy in 2015 when everybody puts their own business?
There is none.
Why should I give a damn whether NSA is tracking my privacy when people put their business on the street?
So you would answer that question in a sense of like, the question is, it's happening anyway. So just if it's going to prevent terrorism, let the NSA do whatever the fuck they want.
I think so.
That would be my answer. So Russ, you as somebody who's more legal than all of us.
Oh, I am?
Yeah. Who knows what the fuck he's doing? That's the thing. You start to think, what's this guy doing? You know? People have money. You don't realize how they have money. Like I got a couple of cousins.
Oh my God!
My cousin goes, I bought a boat. He bought a boat. How? I've been making $1 million a year for the last 8 years. I can't have a boat.
How the fuck does that happen? Like, dog, you've been sleeping and fucking jacking your dick for 8 years, and now you got a boat. Like, how does this happen?
Yeah, I know. It's
a lot of large dick people in your life.
Dog. Jail is traumatizing. Anyway,
I have showered between
bruh, it ain't no joke. Bruh, it ain't no joke. Yeah, it's no joke.
I don't. It just the point is, it's all frustrating to me. It just I would love to help. And you see these refugees, your heart goes out to them. But what what the fuck do you do?
This is probably a bad conversation to have right now because the emotions are still raw.
Well, after 9/11, that's exactly how.
And it's like maybe if we had the same conversation 3 months from now, we would have more rational and more.
Well, this is when you do need extreme thinkers both ways. When the pendulum swings this way, this is when you do need, even if you hate them, the Michael Moores of the world to go, whoa, wait a minute, look at this side of it, because he was screaming right after 9/11, don't go to Iraq, and everybody was warmongering, going, no, we got to go. And after Paris, and the media is just as they're to blame for this.
The media makes money off of scaring the shit out of people.
Yeah, they want. And look, one of these Republican candidates might ride right into a fear of this.
I was thinking that the other day.
Absolutely.
These little things matter. Well, they're big.
Which one do you think?
Trump could get elected
win because of this
based on fear.
Right.
Just that's how people get elected.
And
look,
you know how this country is. It's the Midwest in the middle of America.
They vote.
Yeah,
those people vote.
Powerful.
It's like, oh my God, I hate people. It's like, if you didn't vote, please save your fucking opinion for somebody else.
Right.
Because I can't vote. So if you vote, like if you giving me all this bullshit and you didn't vote, like just as much as why weed wasn't legal in California for 3 fucking voting cycles, you pothead dumb sons of bitches. So you're going to sit here and tell me why weed should be legal for 4 hours, but you were too high to get up and vote. Kiss my ass. I don't want to hear that shit.
Well, again, a lot of the young people don't vote, and it's just like whatever. It's frustrating. The other thing I want to talk about is the college campuses. Like, it took me a while to fully understand what these kids wanted, and what they want is they want some sort of guarantee from the people who run these colleges that they're going to go to a public wherever they go on campus. They're not going to get abused.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Is this with the football team?
With the Missouri thing, like okay, let me, because maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to tell you what I think, and then you give me your side of it. And to me, the guy got fired. The guy from Missouri got fired, who seemed to be a bit of a boob, but whatever. Because a couple of incidents happened that he didn't address, and supposedly it took a long time for him to address it, so it wasn't just a couple of days. But to me, I would tell these kids, look, I can't guarantee you're not going to hear the N-word in the world. I can't do it. I can't coddle you. So I would rather prepare you for the real world and not coddle you and tell you if it happens, it's wrong, report it, it's despicable. But for you to expect me to create a place where that's not going to happen and you want guarantees, I can't do it. And if that's what you expect from me, I don't want the job.
What specifically was the breaking point with that football team? What happened?
There was a situation where the N-word was yelled out in some public forum and a swastika was painted on the door.
Okay.
Both were registered as complaints.
In feces.
Right. Okay. Both they were all registered as complaints.
Okay.
Supposedly it took the president a long time to react to it. Didn't do anything, and they got mad and rallies started. The football team found out what it was about. They threatened not to play, and then it's money is
that's
there.
What killed it.
And they fired the guy. So it's all and the protests started all around.
No punitive action on the people that put the swastika up, and so
Well,
they
you can't have-
It never
identified.
happened. They
Right.
didn't find them, right?
They didn't find them.
Yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
what
This is the thing. This is the thing. And in this country, it's very simple.
But then it spread to Yale and all this shit about people. They don't want to be offended by Halloween costumes, and they're
Oh,
like,
that's-
well, you know.
that's
So,
crazy.
No,
so
I
go
just
ahead.
think. Well, I actually know. We just want to be heard. We know that.
Well, they're hearing you,
We
man,
did.
yeah.
We know that a president of a university cannot change someone's beliefs that's been put into their belief system for 20 some odd years.
Right.
But when we make the complaint, at least act like we.
That was the mistake the guy made.
Heard it.
Yeah, and that
Even
was
if you-
left out of the story. It was
Right.
months before
Right.
anything.
It just
happened. Right.
just act like you heard it. None of us are stupid. We don't expect you to change how this guy feels or this dude yelling out the N word.
Well, I wouldn't say stupid. Some might be that naive, though. They
Yeah,
might be
but
naive
it-
to think, okay, this should be.
Yeah, but
this
at
guy
least-
can create a safe
At
place.
least act like you're hearing the complaints. What his big thing was, he acted like it didn't happen at all.
Right.
We don't expect the president of the university to hold a fucking fucking Law and Order and find a dude that did it.
Right.
But just act like you're empathetic to the situation, which he didn't do. That's
that
that's
was
what
that
got
was
him
a
fired.
big mistake.
That's
Absolutely.
what got him fired.
But
It
now,
wasn't-
okay, that ball gets rolling on that, which I agree with you. But where does it stop now? To the point where these kids, if they saw a mariachi costume, okay, for Halloween, and they thought it was offensive, they thought it was
That's
racist.
insane.
Somebody wrote an email, and
That's
some
insanity.
woman at Yale wrote a very, to me, an intelligent email to everybody involved, saying, "Look, it's Halloween. Maybe this is the time to let these kids express like nutty opinions on stuff. Maybe you could let them be offensive one night."
Yes.
Mariachi is a costume in Mexico. Mexicans don't look like mariachis. It's a costume there.
Right.
So I'm not. She got vilified. Her husband got thrown off campus violent. Like, how dare you? How can you sleep at night? Just for that email.
But that's
an
insanity.
op-ed was written saying you shouldn't give your opinions. That's what it said in the op-ed
That's
of the
insanity.
Yale paper. So where does it stop? I mean,
Well, it has to. Well,
They seem like spoiled little kids. Is my problem.
which it
you know?
is.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is where the generation that all three of us grew up in, we got common sense.
And it's a big difference. You're right.
No, we got common sense. If some white dude dresses up as a mariachi on Halloween,
Yeah.
we're not gonna get pissed off.
we don't even think of getting
We don't
pissed
even
off.
think like
Yeah.
no. But if it's a white dude yelling the N-word
Oh, yeah, of
out of a
course.
building
Yeah, sure.
on fucking July the 15th, which ain't a holiday,
Right.
But that's different. And it's like I think the generation
yeah,
that's going
right.
up now has no common sense and they have no
That's a
buffer.
good point. I think they make it the same thing.
It's not the
they
same
make
thing.
the mariachi costume the same as
It's
the guy
not
on
the
the
same
N-word,
thing,
right?
right.
Exactly. It's
It's
context.
Like a vampire. You know, I'm from Transylvania, and
Yeah.
that's not funny.
Right. That's not so far fetched. That's not so far fetched.
But it's true. It's insane. It's
Say
like,
my uncle's a vampire.
it's like we grew up. It's like
Counter.
we grew up with common sense. It's like all three of us grew up with common sense.
And some of the young black kids, I'd go, don't you understand?
me tell you something.
Making the N-word and the mariachi thing equal is insulting, is racist towards
On-
your people. Because
whole-
you're saying it's the same thing, and
Let
it's
me tell you
not.
something.
The N-word's way worse.
Let me tell you something. If you ever, hypothetically speaking, if you ever are talking to a dude that studied African American studies in college, pay your check and fucking run, because that's 2 hours of your life that you will never get back.
Yeah.
Like, why would you spend $160,000 to study some shit that you can call your grandmother and ask for free?
To me,
Like,
that's
hey,
another good point. There's
like,
a lot of
hey,
useless shit in college,
dog,
man.
It's like, dog, hey,
most
hey,
of it.
grandma, slavery was fucked up, wasn't it? Cool. All right, then I don't owe Fannie Mae some shit. Like,
Right.
dog,
Now I
it's
need
these
money
dudes-
for the heating bill. Where did that come?
It's like, dog, these dudes, they have nothing to complain about, and that's a crutch. So what they do is make up stuff to be pissed off about. Now, what I would say is the guys in Missouri,
Right.
they had a valid point. You have to act like you're hearing us. Just act like it. We aren't even asking you to do something. Just act like you give a damn.
Yeah.
But these dudes that's just making up racist shit just so they have a reason to exist.
Right.
That's the difference from having common sense in the generation that we
and
grew
a
up
true
in.
protest should have a purpose. You're right. They're just making it up for no reason.
Just like,
the
okay,
60s, they had a fucking
right.
agenda. you know.
Okay.
The war, The 60s was about fucking, segregation. It was real issues. This
Now-
is like, they don't even know what they're talking about.
now
They just
since-
want to make trouble.
Now, since Artie is saying that he gets in trouble, this podcast is going to get you in a lot of trouble because I'm going to say it.
Oh.
Michael Brown had a nice run. All right, he was a fucking idiot. All right, now do you know what it
scary.
takes? No, he had a nice run, but he was a fucking idiot. And to start a protest over that dude, let me tell you something. Once I heard, like, I read everything, and I didn't have to read more than 3 pages. Once they said the cop that shot him was getting off of work, I was like, okay, fuck this, you're an idiot. Do you know, like, all of us have jobs. When we're off work, we're off work. And the route that the cop that shot him took was on purpose so he wouldn't see shit happening.
Right.
Michael
He
Brown
was trying to avoid trouble.
Because guess what? A cop, because I've done the LA County Sheriff's Department Christmas show for the last 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Let me tell you something. Cops, when they're off work, they're just like us.
Oh, wow.
If a cop saw a bitch getting raped on the sidewalk when he's off work, he would just put up his blinders and keep going because that's paperwork, just like any of us.
Yeah, they're not all Bruce Willis and the Last Boy Scout.
Thank you.
Sure, like, you know?
Let me tell you something.
Right, exactly.
Let me tell you something. You're walking down the middle of the fucking street, and the cop is getting off of work. Of course he's going to be a little pissed off. Could you get your ass out of the middle of the street so I can go the fuck home?
So your point is, it's a good point. He was not looking for trouble, and trouble found him, and Michael Brown is trouble.
And the rest of the shit is history.
The video of him and that we talk about all the time in the Korean market, that kid took what he wanted, and he was
had a
dangerous,
nice run.
right? Yeah.
No, he had a nice run because guess what? If you're dumb enough, all right, especially as a black man, we already know that we have a target on our back. So Michael Brown basically was like a deer walking into fucking Bass Pro Shop during deer season and saying, "Hey guys, that motherfucking gun will work better." Like, no, like, is it deer season yet? Because I'm here. Like, y'all trying to shoot me or what? All right, cool. I'll wait for y'all outside. It's all like, no, it's idiotic for us, and I believe really that we as older people just got to use common sense. If you don't teach and this is coming from black guy, if you don't teach your black son or black daughter, you have a target on your back already. Right. Don't put it in neon, you stupid motherfucker.
That's just common sense, right? Yeah.
You just robbed a motherfucking convenience store, and then you're walking down the middle of a fucking street.
Right.
Oh, he had a nice run.
Yeah.
18 years for that idiot was a nice run.
And if you start a big riot over a kid like that, you might be wasting
because
good time.
What it does is it invalidates your whole message.
Exactly.
Like, for instance, the guy in New York that got choked out for a cigarette. I've bought plenty of Lucy's.
Yeah.
All right. That was unnecessary.
Eric Garner. Yeah.
Eric Garner. But what happened is Eric Garner came after that Michael Brown bullshit. If we had started that bullshit movement at Eric Garner,
right?
It actually makes more sense because yes, he was breaking the law, but goddamn, it's a cigarette.
And what happens is right, exactly. So when something that is right comes along, we have a point. By that time, people are like, okay, well, we wasted all our energy on the last one, which made no sense.
Now I'm personally proud of Baltimore when that shit in Baltimore happened. I'm proud of all of my homies, Be More, Murderland, because Baltimore is the only protest that made sense. Because if you look at all of the riots, the only riot that actually did something constructive was Baltimore. Because what did Baltimore loot? They looted CVS for those pills and shit. Because guess what? I got to work tomorrow, so let me get these free pills off. Hey, no, we ran into CVS getting pills because we got to sell them tomorrow. Like, fuck the dumb shit.
There was a lot of useless stores that were looted.
Thank you. Not in Baltimore, baby. That was Vicodin. That was fucking Percocet. Like, give me.
I join in on that. I mean, look, to me, these are all, you're right, the problems we have here have to be solved first, but they're not going to be because now it's on. Now after Paris, it's on, and we're fucking, God knows what's going to happen. And I think, Russ, your point is completely valid, that it's impressive that nothing's happened, but I really think New York is still the crown jewel for these motherfuckers. Yep. And I hate to say it, something's going to happen.
I don't think so.
I mean, a backpack's going to get through on the C train. Something's going to happen. And it just scares the fuck out of me. It really is scary where it's affecting my thinking now.
Do you really think that, man?
I do. Eventually, I think something's going to happen.
Well, eventually, because you can't.
It matters how big it's going to be. That's all.
Right, because you can't legislate stupidity. But I think it's some steps that you can take, which goes back to the point that I made at the start, which is, sorry, guys, we can't do this. It's like we can't let you in, just fucking open door come on in type of shit, because the reality that we live in is some of you motherfuckers is coming over here with smoke coming out of your ass, and it just is what it is.
Absolutely.
Now, if you police yourself, then we can let all of you in, because you know, just like all of us got family, we all know who the crazy motherfucker in our family is.
Yeah.
Hey, turn in your crazy motherfucking cousin, and y'all can all
Well,
come in.
I was related to the Bin Laden family. He was like the middle of 35, 52 kids. He was like the 20.
Jesus Christ,
I was
really?
related to him to like the crazy Irish family, like, Danny Bin Laden. You know what he did? He fucking blew up
Thank
the
you.
Trade Center.
See, thank you.
Eric Bin Laden robbed the gas station.
Everybody's family knows the crazy motherfucker.
Right.
So it's like, dog.
Whatever Patrick Bin Laden. He became a dentist or something. He's fine. But Danny blew up the Trade Center.
Everybody's family knows the crazy motherfucker,
Yeah.
so you got to turn them in. Like,
Yeah.
if you want for the greater good,
It ain't happening, though.
I know that.
Yeah.
So guess what? Sit your ass on fucking Liberty Island for 2.5 years. If you ain't willing to turn in your crazy ass cousin that you know been listening to Rosetta Stone fucking ISIS tapes, nigga. Because we all know that dude. And
How about
this
every
is what-
cab driver with fucking the hair coming out of his ear, and there's something
just
plugged
call-
into his ear, that ear hair, and he's talking in some language, and to me they're planning the next fucking thing.
Dog, I was on a plane, right, and I was talking to this Arab student, and this is no joke. I was talking to this Arab student, cool kid, man. He was awesome. I was talking to him, and then another Arab student came on the plane, and they started talking Arab, and I fucked the dude up that was sitting next to me, because I'm not having that shit on my plane. I just beat the shit out of those dudes, because I'm like,
You
fuck the
beat
Arab
them
shit.
up physically
On the plane?
I beat the one dude up. Fuck yeah.
When did that
Wait,
happen?
what?
That was like 2 years ago. I just fucked this dude
Well, how
up.
come it wasn't on CNN?
Wait, why? You're on a plane on the runway?
And no, yeah, on the runway. And the dude that I was sitting next to was Arab, and
This
I was
would have
talking
made
to him.
national news. Are you aware?
Not really, because everybody on the
Was there any
plane.
legal
No,
repercussions?
everybody was on the plane was like,
Yeah.
good idea, because I don't know what them two motherfuckers are talking
Wait, so
about.
wait, well, I just we're blowing.
Define
through-
beating
I want
up.
some details here. He comes on. He
And me and
sits
him are
next to
talking
you
English.
and just speaking English. And
No,
you
I'd
throw
actually-
punches or what?
No,
what happened?
I'd actually talked to him in the airport, and we were talking English.
Right.
Good kid. He
Okay,
actually
between the
went,
talking and the punch, what happened? Anything?
well, we got on the plane, and he happened to be
Another
sitting-
guy got on.
and another guy got on, and they
Arab.
started talking Arab shit to
Okay.
to each other.
Okay.
And I don't know what they saying, so I
Right.
just fucked the dude up that I was
What,
talking
what
to.
the fine fuck did you just started hitting him in the face?
Yeah.
Or what? Wow.
Yeah.
And no ramification.
You were on the ground
Nothing happened
still?
to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Were you escorted off the plane or
Nope. Nope.
And
Nope.
Come on. Wait. So you're hitting the guy. All right. You're hitting this guy.
Actually,
Does
all
the other
it-
guy get involved too? Or
The
you
other
hitting
guy
both of them?
ran.
He ran off the plane
No, he ran to his seat.
to his seat.
Yeah.
And so you're hitting the guy on the seat. Who steps in to stop the fight? Anyone?
Nobody.
So you're hitting him.
I only had to hit him like 3 times because
then
they
you-
got glass jaws.
I got you. And then you sit down. He's next to you still.
Yeah.
Okay, you sit down and then just you
And
go
then
on
and then
fly.
the stewardess walked up to him, and she was like, "Are you all right? Do you want to press charges?" And he was like, "No."
Really?
But how are you comfortable with continuing to fly after the fight?
Because he knows ain't no shit jumping off on this goddamn flight.
Wait, one second. You were in the air or not in the air?
Not in here.
You didn't leave. You didn't pull back.
Not until the stewardess asked him, "Did he want to press charges?"
The
Still.
stewardess witnessed this.
While
Yeah.
she's aware of what happened,
Right,
obviously.
okay.
So she allows the flight to continue without. This is very difficult to believe, Darryl.
And guess what?
Yeah.
I'm here now.
Yeah.
Right.
So it wasn't no fucking dumb shit.
What airline
were you
is this?
flying
Just so I
LL?
know?
Can I say the airline?
Yeah, please
Not
do.
gonna
I'd like to know so I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what not to fly.
Which kind of makes sense if I say the airline.
All right.
I was on
Con Air?
No, just, yeah,
Specifically.
and they were talking Arab shit, and I
he
don't know what the fuck
ran
they talking about.
To how far away was his seat?
I have no idea because I wasn't looking at him
You
because
weren't
I was
looking
too
at him.
busy kicking the dude in the head.
Kicking him in the head.
The other
and
guy
no
didn't
passengers were reacting to this
Yeah.
at all? They were.
They were like, "Good,
Good for what
Me.
reason? Speaking
I would
Arabic?
say good. I mean,
thank you." See, when you aren't in the situation, you don't think about it until
Right.
you're in the
So
situation.
you may be on a plane again where you hear people speaking another language that sounds Arabic, or so what do you do then? What are you going to do?
I'm gonna fuck somebody
You're
else.
going to start swinging.
Damn right.
Even if you just hear dialogue, you're going to start throwing punches.
I want to land.
were you hitting him in the face?
I hit him in the face twice and then kicked him in the head.
Right.
Can I just, as your legal counsel, could I advise you not to do this in the future? Because I think you're going to get in trouble.
What if it's Tony Shalhoub and his agent? and they're speaking Arabic.
Tony Shalhoub's just talking English.
Wait a minute. So if he had pressed charges, though, you'd be in trouble then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's assault.
But then again, if you press charges, I got a whole airplane full of people that said I didn't see shit.
Oh, okay.
Because guess what? That's where the fear comes in.
Right.
And I'm the type of person that I'm not stable enough to act on my fear. It's like, bruh, I can't have y'all speaking Arab shit and I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about because I need to land.
Right.
I need this gig. So I need to land. I don't need this bullshit where, no, fuck that.
Okay.
I'm taking you out, so it's only one of you left. All right, so... And maybe that's racist. Maybe that's an asshole move. But
listen,
I don't give a fuck.
I don't.
But guess what?
That's not the part that I have an issue with at all.
So what's the part you have an issue with?
No, I'm just saying what Russ said. As a friend of yours, I'm saying be careful next time.
Okay.
Because
I haven't had a next time.
don't
yet,
make.
so
Yeah. Okay. I'm just saying. I don't want to see you arrested for it.
No.
But I think at this point they should be. If we're sensitive towards two guys speaking Arabic, they should understand.
I have no problem with it. Maybe it's insensitive, and
I
you
don't
know
know
what?
he says maybe. Maybe it's insensitive and racist. Maybe.
But hold up. Who is the comic that has the line? I'd rather be a living racist than a dead fucking. Somebody has that line. It's not me, but
I know. I never heard that one before.
oh my god, somebody has that line. I'd rather be a live racist.
Listen, it makes sense, right? I mean, racial profiling at this point with terrorism.
Let me tell you something.
For it.
Let me tell you something. If somebody
I
said,
think it was Adolf Hitler.
let me tell you something.
Checky Hitler.
Shecky Hitler. You know what?
the great comic.
If somebody said somebody robbed a Louisiana chicken,
Louis C.K.K.
Hey, God, there we go. Well done, Arthur.
no, if somebody says somebody robbed a fucking Louisiana chicken and they fucking frisk all black people, it's relative. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Now, if somebody says that somebody killed their wife and they start frisking white husbands, that makes perfect sense. If somebody says somebody's thinking about blowing up a plane and you got a fucking dashiki on your head,
Yeah. No, I tell my sister. She's in the city all the time. She's small. I go just fucking tell a cop. I don't give a shit. Don't worry about being offensive. If you see
fuck it,
two guys talking,
I want to land. I want to land.
I mean, don't punch him in the face. Tell a cop.
Yeah.
Okay,
Plane.
now, all right, check it out, fellas. All of us fly a whole lot,
Right.
Yeah,
Too much
because of the job.
for these issues. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, doesn't it piss you off when TSA pulls out an old ass white Jewish lady and frisk her down, and the dude with the dashiki and
It's
the
a waste
sandals?
of time.
Hold up, and the dude with the dashiki and the sandals just walks through because they don't want to look racist.
And
It's
look, that's kind of what happened when you watch the video of Muhammad Atta going right through. And
Yeah.
Oh God. It's
but
so
I
funny.
bet you that they pulled out a white lady to check her purse.
Yeah, they confiscated her pastrami sandwich. Yeah, absolutely.
Know what? Just like I was going from Denver to back home to Vegas. I had just bought some Bath and Body Works shit.
Right.
Because I'm kind of a metrosexual. And this motherfucker had me.
Not really.
You balance it out with that plane.
I was gonna say
story.
you're the most masculine metrosexual. How many metrosexual Ryan Seacrest is beating up that guy?
No, but it's like this motherfucker pulled me out of line, and they were like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "It's my body scrub." And they're like, "You have too much of it."
Right.
And I'm like, "I'm not blowing up a plane with body scrub, motherfuckers." So she confiscated.
Oh, the liquid. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't have
and
more
she
than-
confiscated my body scrub, and I'm like, "Bitch, does it look like I'm gonna light this on?" Oh, we got to do this and this and this and I was just like, "Look, you know what? I'm happy for you because you finally get to bring this home to your fucking drummer boyfriend,
Yeah.
and you can suck his dick because he finally washed his ass with something quality. Because that's the only reason that you're taking this from me,
Right.
is because your drummer that's in the band that hasn't made it yet needs some shit to wash his nuts with."
And she's like, first of all, he's a bass player. He writes the songs.
But don't tell me that doesn't piss you off, man.
Of course it does. I mean, there's a lot that pisses me off about the TSA. Well, listen, this has been fascinating.
We haven't even got into the cocaine up bitches' asses or nothing. This is fucking.
Or
Well, let's
Charlie
take a
Sheen,
break. We'll decide what's going on. Let's take a break and we'll figure.
I'm not trying to keep the shit going, but it was funny.
No, but
When we
listen.
talk about-
If there's more shit you want to talk about, I'll talk about. What time is it?
It's getting late.
Real time?
It's time for you to fucking.
No, the fake time.
No, 4:40. You mean?
Okay.
Oh, shit,
Yeah, I meant
you
what
got-
time is it of the day?
4:40.
Okay. What do you
he-
think I meant? Oh, time. How
he
long?
could. That's
Is
it.
this it? An hour
Yes.
39?
That's a good
All right,
mistake.
we got a little more time, but we'll take a break.
All right.
Hey everyone, it's Dan. Artie is doing his fitting right now for his HBO series, directed by Mr. Judd Apatow. So I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you to Daryl Wright. His Twitter is Daryl, DARYL_Wright, WRIGHT. He's my new favorite comic and Air Marshal. Also, the great Russ Meneve. His Twitter is @RussMeneve, RussMeneve. And, of course, even though he's a Cardinals fan, the best in the business, Mr. Joe Buck. He was amazing. He was fun. He was entertaining. He was everything you would want in a guest. So thank you for listening. Artie, thanks you for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Tell your friends, artiequitter.com.